Hi everyone, Jordan Massey here from Talk Golf, Specialist Putting Coach. Today I'm going to talk you through the first part in a series of videos of things you can do at home during the winter to help improve your putting. The first thing we're going to look at today involves calibrating our setup and our eye position. So for this you're going to need a putting mirror. I've also got here the Vizio T-Line, which is a really useful training aid. If you don't have one of those, you can use an alignment stick. So what I've done here is I've used the laser, I've lined it up to the centre of the hole. I've then placed the T-line over the hitting area so that the T-line is also pointing dead centre of the hole. Now, the exercise we're going to do here involves us finding out where our eyes need to be in order for us to perceive the target correctly and us to be able to see straight. Now, a lot of you will have been told that you have to have your eyes right over the top of the golf ball. This isn't necessarily true. It might be, but this test is designed to help us figure out exactly where our eyes need to be. So when I set this up for a lot of people, they'll go into their setup wherever their eyes may be when they first walk in, and they'll find quite often that the stick doesn't look like it points to the centre of the hole. What that normally means is that they'll struggle when they line the golf ball up, get the ball to match up to where they've aimed it. So they'll stand behind the ball, place the line down, and think it looks perfect when they're stood behind the putt, and then they'll address the ball, the line won't match where they think it should. So that's normally caused by a perceptual bias of some kind. So someone will tend to get onto this mirror with this setup and the stick will either look to the left or to the right. That will often cause issues with the movement of the face and probably lead to some sort of manipulation of the face during the stroke. So what we're going to try and do here, we're going to go into our setup. I'm going to place the club in the mirror. And what I'm looking for now is once I'm in my setup, I'm going to try and get into a position where this stick looks like it's pointing dead centre of the hole. Now, if it doesn't, that might mean that our eye position needs to change slightly, so I might need to move inside the ball, I might need to move outside the ball. Things I would also check are alignment of the feet, alignment of the shoulders. That can also influence it. And then also start to look at whether your neck tilt needs to change, whether the position of your head needs to change. There's a few different things you can do to try and get that aligned up. Again, ball position is also something to check, so make sure all your basics are where they need to be. So for me, I know that when I'm set up correctly, my left eye is just below the golf ball, just under the bottom of it. When I'm in that position, I know when I look along that line now that T-line is pointing dead centre of the cup. So I know that's where my eyes need to be. I can see my shoulders are parallel with the mirror there. I could put an alignment stick down for my feet as well if I wanted to. What I'd encourage you to do is when you know where the position is to actually measure your distance from the ball with a tape measure. And then you can place an alignment stick down so that you're stood in the right position every time. That's something I'd recommend you doing for 10 to 15 minutes a day at home. So what I'm going to do now that I know where my eyes are, I'm going to take the T-line away, and I'm now going to hit some putts from that setup position. So I'm going to try and make sure I get into that same eye position each time. Now something I'd also recommend is when you're doing this is that you actually practice getting into your setup. What I see a lot of people do is they'll get everything set up really nicely. They'll hit a putt, take another ball and they'll hit it again. They're not actually practicing getting into the correct position. So I'll normally do some practice strokes first, like I would on the golf course. And then from there I'm going to step in. Shoulders are in the right position, they're square. Okay, my left eye is just below the ball as I figured out a second ago. And now from there, I'm good to go. I'm good to hit my putt from that position. Okay, so that's something I'd try and do, like I say, 10-15 minutes a day. If you can't do it for that long, even if you're hitting a few putts every day, that will definitely help you calibrate that setup and get into a comfortable position each time. Now, if you've got a putting mat at home, that's great. You can also do this at the golf course, but if not, you can just do it on some carpet. You could put a cup down or a mug as your target for this, and you can set that up and work on that at home. Any questions on this, please feel free to let me know. Let me know how you get on, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.